drive charging. Ready to engage. Warning, temperature critical. Shift drive charging. Fuel scooping complete.
Galactic Summit cancelled. NMLA attacks superpowers. The conference in the Sirius system has ended prematurely after terrorist bombings against 9 starports across the Alliance, Empire and Federation. Sirius
Frameshift drive charging.
Corporation confirmed that the cancellation was due to fears that Patterson Enterprise Station may be the next target. All scheduled business, including finalizing the Sirius Treaty, has been halted. The delegations are returning to their home systems under high security. Temporary permits for the Sirius system will remain in place for 1 week. Pilots who contributed to the security and trade initiatives held in partnership with the Empire can collect their rewards at the Spirit of Laylapse. Core Dynamics, Gutermeyer and Lakon Spaceways will continue to offer a 10% discount on all their ships for 1 more week. The Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for the simultaneous attacks in 9 systems, including superpower capitals Akana, Alioth and Sol. The following message was broadcast on NMLA propaganda channels. I no longer have a name, nor a family, nor a future, each taken by the Empire. Now all I have is the dehumanizing number printed on my uniform in their torture chambers. Now all I am is Theta 7. The Alliance and Federation's rulers have revealed themselves as imperialist
Frameshift drive charging.
supporters of the Duval dynasty, which has crushed our ideals for 1,000 years. Peoples of the galaxy, you can change this. We give you your own 9 martyrs. Use them to retake control and
4, 3, 2, 1.
in your power. Media news feeds are detailing the impact and implications of the attacks. There is speculation that NMLA activists were concealed among Marlinist refugees that fled to Alliance and Federation space to escape Imperial persecution. The Marlinist Parliament has officially stated it has no connection to Neo-Marlinist extremists, and that it will cooperate with security and emergency
System scan complete.
services during this crisis. 9 starports hit by terrorist bombings. Pilots Federation alert. Explosions have struck starports across the Alliance, Empire and Federation in a coordinated bombing attack by the NMLA. The capital systems of all 3 superpowers, Akana, Alioth and Sol, have been targeted by the terrorists, as well as 6 other high-population systems. Precise casualty numbers are unavailable, but several 100,000 people have been killed with many more injured. There are urgent calls for independent pilots to rescue survivors and support repair operations at all 9
Fuel scooping.
locations. Doors Hut
Fuel scooping complete.
in the Akana system, Donaldson in the Alioth system, Dublin Citadel in the Gateway system, Han Gateway in the Nanamum system, Ito Orbital
Frameshift drive charging.
in the Rhea system, Lathe Station in the Lathe system, Li Qingjiao in the Sol system, Parkinson Dock in the Eotienza system, Shajan Market in the Kamadhenu system.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The explosive damage to each station is consistent with corrosive enzyme weapons previously used by the NMLA. This has triggered automated systems designed to respond to Thargoid assaults. The Alliance Defense Force, Federal Navy and Imperial Navy are on full alert. Other military and security forces across the core systems are preparing for possible further attacks. The Galactic Summit has been temporarily suspended while Alliance, Empire and Federation leaders respond to the emergency. A full lockdown is in effect in the Sirius system, where the scheduled bounty hunting and trade initiatives have been cancelled. Galactic Mysteries. The Adamastor. Eric Gunnarsson and Francesco Wolf, 2 detectives from the Wall Glass Investigations Agency, examine the background of the Adamastor megaship. Gunnarsson. When Wolf and I started this project, we knew this case would come first. We're both protégés of Benjamin Chester, creator of the Wall Glass Archive. He retired years ago, but that old spark kicked in when a ghost ship turned up on his doorstep. The Adamastor is a 200-year-old derelict that drifted into the Chukchan system on autopilot. It's still there, with the Alliance Salvage Guild poking through its guts. Chester investigated its owners, a super-secretive company called Azimuth Biochemicals. We don't know what they were searching for, but
Frameshift drive charging.
what they found was possibly the first recorded Thargoid encounter. I've since tracked down evidence that the Adamastor had a sister ship, the Hesperus, which in 3113 was sent to somewhere. Neither ship returned, but we only know what happened on the Adamastor mission. Of course, Wolf had to go see that with her own eyes. Wolf? What?
Frameshift drive charging.
The Dark Region PJPB61 is a busy system nowadays, but was unexplored when Professor Carver's survey team were there. Listening to their logs from 2 centuries ago while examining the research
4, 3, 2, 1.
This was chilling. Ghost voices from a ghost ship. There was evidence of blast scars, but I've seen enough battlefields to know what exchanged gunfire looks like. Azimuth's mercenaries weren't just firing at Thargoids, but at someone who shot back with laser rifles. Gunarsin tells
System scan complete.
me Azimuth was swallowed up by a rival called Pharmasapien. Did they infiltrate the Adamastor and try to take over? Or did the thing that Carver captured drive everyone insane? This is a seriously cold case, even for us. But maybe one day, more tantalizing clues will emerge.
Frameshift drive charging.
And that's what we live for. Thargoid conflict discussed at the Galactic Summit. Potential solutions to the threat posed by the Thargoid race are being debated at the
Ready to engage.
diplomatic conference in the Sirius system. Political correspondent Conrad Sterling reported for Vox Galactica. As always, the topic of the Thargoids brings division. The Alliance delegation has portrayed
4, 3, 2, 1.
the aliens as a universal danger, while the Empire and Federation took a more balanced view. Professor Albert Tesro's plea to increase support for Aegis was well received, but many delegates argued that further anti-Xena breakthroughs were needed to justify additional funding. To this end, Aegis will undertake new research into the Guardians, hoping to discover a technological advantage from that ancient species. Prime Minister Mahone's proposal for strategic cooperation against the Thargoids, known as the Sirius Treaty, is now being examined in detail. Supporters view it as a logical progression from the recently agreed Cornelius-Lasky Convention. There was minor uproar when Archon Delane agreed to be a signatory. Coupled with similar commitments from the Marlinist colonies and other independents, this has brought pressure upon the Empire and Federation to follow suit. If ratified, the Sirius Treaty could be the crowning achievement of the conference. However, putting it into practice will require a huge influx of resources. Decisions are expected before the end of this week. The Declaration of Archon Delane. At the Galactic Summit, the infamous pirate leader Archon Delane has demanded to be accepted as the legitimate leader of a political power. A gap in the schedule allowed him to make an address in the main conference chamber. Most of you see me as a common criminal, rather than the
Fuel scooping.
rightful ruler of multiple systems.
Fuel scooping complete.
That must end now. My efforts to build a Kumo nation deserve respect. I am here to
Frameshift drive charging.
declare my sovereignty and take my rightful place on the political stage. This was immediately dismissed by many delegations. Princess Aisling Duval said this was a barbaric mockery of nobility, while
4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow President Winters asked how much bloodshed the pirates had caused to obtain their power. Archon Delane replied, "Are you all so innocent then? Every civilization begins with barbarism and maintains authority with the threat of violence. None of you can say otherwise. We all wear a crown of bones." There followed intense debate as to whether the Kumo cruise territory could be recognized as a new nation-state or was simply a
Fuel scooping.
granted crime syndicate. There is
Fuel scooping complete.
suspicion that some of the many criminal vessels detected in the Sirius system are from Delane's pirate
Frameshift drive charging.
fleet. The Federal and Imperial delegations have offered to remove Archon Delane's retinue.
System scan complete.
only to be reminded that Sirius Corporation has granted them full
Frameshift drive charging.
diplomatic immunity. Jupiter Rochester sentenced to life imprisonment. Former Core Dynamics CEO Jupiter Rochester has received a summary judgment for
4, 3, 2,
multiple crimes against the Federation. The Federal Justice Department gave this statement. The facts in the case of Jupiter Rochester are self-evident. His principal role regarding Starship 1 Jupiter Division make him guilty of treason, mass murder and many other crimes. He will serve a solitary life sentence in a maximum security prison.
1. System scan complete.
Melendu Alcoror of the Federal Attorney's Office expressed surprise. It is highly unusual for the FJD not to litigate such a major case,
Fuel scooping.
considering
Fuel
we don't know the
scooping
full
complete.
extent of Rochester and Fleet Admiral Vincent's conspiracies. Unfortunately, our request to open a full investigation has been denied.
Frameshift drive charging.
Shadow Vice President Isolde Rochester has reiterated that her family were not involved with her eldest son's clandestine activities. Core Dynamics is continuing to rebuild after several
4, 3, 2, 1.
departments separated to form Jupiter Division. Owen McKenna, the new CEO, has vowed to purge the company of all his predecessors' loyalists. Despite Rochester's failure to build a power base in the H54530 system, his manifesto of placing the Federation under direct corporate rule has received praise in some regions. A corporatist movement, founded by commercial networks and civil groups, is gradually gaining popularity. Defense and delivery requests for the Sirius system. Pilots Federation alert. The Empire is aiding Sirius Corporation by offering bounty hunting and trade opportunities to support the Galactic Summit. The diplomatic conference is now entering its second week, with superpower and independent leaders gathered at Patterson Enterprise in the Sirius system. Sirius Corporation CEO Li Yongrui announced, "Our thanks to the Federation for organizing additional security against unexpected numbers of vessels this past week. Anarchic extremists, political enemies and opportunistic criminals all attempted to disrupt the conference to no avail. Pilots who helped maintain the peace can collect their rewards at the Spirit of Laylaps. For the coming week, we are working with the Empire to maintain the security operation by offering bounties
Frameshift drive charging.
on all wanted ships. The Empire will also pay generously for extra supplies of animal meat, coffee, fish, fruit and vegetables, and wine that are delivered to the Spirit of Laylaps. Pilots are reminded that neither permanent nor temporary permits to enter the Sirius system apply to fleet carriers.
Frameshift drive charging.
This joint initiative will run for 1 week, followed by Sirius Corporation partnering with the Alliance for the final week of the Galactic Summit. In related news, Core Dynamics, Gutermeyer
4, 3, 2, 1.
and Lakon Spaceways are continuing to offer a 10% discount on all their ships to mark the historic occasion. Archon Delane gate crashes the Galactic Summit. Pirate warlord Archon Delane has unexpectedly appeared at the diplomatic conference and demanded to participate as a political delegate. Delane is the leader of the Kumo Crew, a notorious crime syndicate that controls dozens of systems. Their arrival at Patterson Enterprise Station initially caused many delegations' security teams to begin evacuations. However, representatives of the Sirius Corporation called for calm and delivered this message. We have vouchsafed Archon Delane's presence and extended full diplomatic immunity to his retinue. As with all attendees, they are expected to abide by our rules and etiquettes. This reassurance did not prevent several ambassadors from walking out in protest. Some accused Sirius Corporation of striking a deal with Delane to prevent even more pirate vessels from swarming through the Sirius system. Mainstream news feeds also covered the impact of Delane's arrival. The Imperial Herald, Senator Patrias officially complained about the repulsive sight of pirate scum strolling alongside respectable politicians. However, Chancellor Blaine agreed that Delane could address the conference, albeit under close scrutiny. The Federal Times: neither Hudson nor Winters have commented on Delane's appearance, but the security chief for the federal delegation remarked, "One wrong step and we'll put some big holes right through their immunity." The Alliance Tribune: this is an unwelcome distraction from Prime Minister Mahone's proposal for Aegis's remit to be enormously expanded. The Sirius Treaty will fully unite superpowers, corporations and independent systems against the Thargoids, assuming that Mahone can convince his fellow leaders to agree. Superpowers make progress at the Galactic Summit. Leaders from the Alliance, Empire and Federation have agreed a series of minor treaties at the diplomatic gathering in the Sirius system. Vox Galactica featured this report from political correspondent Conrad Sterling. Following days of heated arguments, temperatures in the conference chamber finally cooled enough for all three superpowers to formalize a raft of agreements. These were ratified in person by Chancellor Blaine, President Hudson and Prime Minister Mahone. The most significant of these treaties is the Cornelius-Lasky Convention, named after its two leading proponents. This requires the Alliance and Empire and Federation to share information on any large-scale threats to civilian populations, including environmental, medical and xenological crises. There has been slow progress on other topics, such as military limitations
Frameshift drive charging.
and border control.
Frameshift drive charging.
Many independent ambassadors are demanding
Frameshift drive charging.
to prioritize debates on the Thargoid issue, and especially the defensive role played by Aegis. Outside the chamber, First Minister Fairfax invited Princess Deval to a small ceremony to honor her
4, 3, 2, 1.
late father. Fairfax formally apologized for Prince Harold's death and condemned the terrorists responsible. Aisling Deval gracefully accepted this, but time will tell if it was an empty gesture or the first step toward Imperial Marlinist rapprochement. Galactic Summit imperiled by political frictions. Delegates at the diplomatic conference have clashed over long-standing political issues,
System scan complete.
with some threatening to abandon the
Frameshift drive charging.
event. Journalists at Patterson Enterprise in the Sirius system
Fuel scooping. Fuel
reported their
scooping
observations via mainstream news feeds. The Imperial Herald: Minister White's claim that the Empire had fomented terrorism by repressing Marlinism was somewhat predictable. But nobody expected Princess Deval's icy retort.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. System scan complete. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.